Do you want to sing Jingle Bell Rock? Jingle bell, jingle bell rock. No, you don't want to do that one either? Hey, kia ora. Helen Brahms here, coming to you live from Sun City in Arizona. Hope you've had a super fantastic, sparkling, shake it up. No, hang on, wrong day. Tune Up Tuesday, that's the one. You told me the wrong one, Zeffie. I got my little pal here. It's only because dinner's sitting on the table and she's like, what you got there, Ma? Yeah, you'll get some of it shortly. You know you will. Just be patient. So I hope you're all having a super fantastic, sparkling Tune-Up Tuesday. What tune-ups did you do today? What momentum did you create? What changes did you get today? I had a very full day today. It has been like, oh my gosh. One thing I did do is I checked on my Ancestry annual subscription because I knew the payment was due this month, like last week, hadn't seen it taken out of the bank account. And I was like, I'm a little worried here, but I still had access to everything. And so I got on the phone and got this really nice woman there. And I explained to her the situation, and she went in and I said, I did change my credit card on the day it was due. And she's like, well, that's probably what the problem was. And they may have tried it before I had changed my payment, because I had to get a new card because the other one got compromised. And so she was sort of like, oh, let's just get in here and take care of it. This is how much it's going to be. She goes, oh, and thank you. I see you've been a member here since 2002. I said, actually, I've been a paying member since 2002. I said, I was actually with you guys before that. My profile states that I've been a member for over 22 years. And she's sort of like, really? I said, yes. I said, but your system will only show how long I've been a paid member. So I've been a paid member with Ancestry since 2000, because when she went back and had a look, she went, oh yeah, it does say 2000. And I said, yeah. And I said, it was probably a year or two before that I actually got into your system for the first time, and I used the free version that you had back then. And then it was a couple of years later that I started paying. And she goes, oh, no, actually it was 2002. And so she's like, oh, she says, yes, that will explain why we can't see the earlier years here. If you were on the free subscription, it doesn't show up. It's only the paid subscription. So I was sort of like, wow, I've been a member with this outfit for a very long time. So like, how do I get a free lifetime membership? It would be awesome. But, for a yearly charge, it's not too bad, especially with all the records that I have availability to, that I can get access to. There's a lot of records where you go to their databases and stuff and you get charged. Unless you're an Ancestry member with the All Access Pass, then you just type in your Ancestry password and stuff and you're into the system. And I use as many of the tools that they have for when I'm researching and everything else. And I just realized it was Tuesday and we didn't do family tree answers today. Dang. Okay, that's another thing we're going to put on the list. So I got that all taken care of. And I said, just to let you know, I don't know how often you guys try the payment methods when one fails. I said, but I never got an email telling me that the payment method had failed. She's like, oh. She says, you should get one. And I says, nope. So it makes me wonder if they actually tried. And she's like, ah. She said, well, but we got everything taken care of. So I'm all squared away for another year now. And then I opened up my email this morning and I had a really cool email there. There is a thing called SLIG 2022, and it is put on by the Utah Genealogical Society, and it's called Salt Lake Institute for Genealogists. I think that's what it is. Salt Lake City. Yeah, I think that's what it is. I'm trying to remember now. It is, Salt Lake Institute of Genealogy. There we go. I just went and looked at the proper one. And they had sent out an email like a few days ago stating that they had made a very tough decision to not do in person in January. And I had already seen that they were having this in January. And I was like, what am I going to do with Zeffie during that time? I can't take Sparkles up there. Because it snows. Sparkle's not set up for those temperatures or that type of weather. And so I was sort of like, okay, so I won't go this year. I'll plan on going in 2023. Well, then they had an email come out like Friday, I think it was, Thursday or Friday last week, that said, oh, we've changed from in person to being virtual this year. And I'm like, yes, now I can go. And so I went online and all the classes were sold out, but they had waiting lists. So I read through all the course descriptions very carefully. there's some that I have interests in, and a couple of the instructors I recognize from the one that I did in June or July of this year. And especially Michael, Michael's really cool. He's the military guy, and he just sat there and just poured information on us during the small military portion we had in the class. And so I picked out two. I says, well, I really want to do this one, but I want to back up just in case, because I want to go no matter what. And so I read through the descriptions, picked out two. They then notified me yesterday that my second choice was available. I was like, okay. And so I sent all the information back, and they were waiting for them to send me an invoice. I logged on this morning, and not only was the invoice there for that course, but my first choice class also said that I was off the wait list and could attend the class. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So I quickly did a reply to them saying, hey, I've already replied for this class, but that was my second choice. This particular one was my first choice. Is there any possible way that I can switch it? I haven't paid the invoice for the other class yet. I said, I just got that this morning. I'm happy to wait before, because you got to reply within 24 hours or they take you off the list altogether. And then I got an email this afternoon after I finished work, because we were so busy on the chat today. I didn't get a chance to even check emails. Not even my Mailbox Power email account got checked today. It was afterwards, and there's like all of these emails in there. So they had replied and said, not a problem. We have changed you to this class, and we'll send over the invoice shortly. And so I looked above that, and there was the invoice sitting there. So I went, big thank you to them for being accommodating and all of that sort of stuff, and went straight. And as soon as I got the invoice, went straight in and paid it. So that was done after work this afternoon. So it's like, yay. So January 9th to the 14th is when the classes, well, it's actually the 10th to the 14th. The 9th is orientation day and trade show day and all that sort of stuff. And it's a Sunday. So Monday through Friday, I'll be out that week, starting at 8 o'clock in the morning and going till 4:30 in the afternoon. Thankfully, I'm in the same time zone. So I'm not having to log on at 7 o'clock in the morning like I was with the one that was in Georgia. They would start at 10 o'clock in the morning their time, and it was 7 a.m. here. But then I finished at like 2:30 like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I could then go get on the help desk. This time, not an opportunity to do that. So I'm going to be out that entire week. So I sent an email off to the boss as soon as possible to say, hey, just to give you a heads up. I'm just trying to find something to put my phone because it's slipping and sliding and getting in my way. So got into that. So I was super excited about that. I'm like, yay. And then we got our weather advisories for strong gusty winds. Went from 2 warnings to 3, went from 2 watches to 2 warnings and a different warning. And I had a look at that. And so they said starting at 6 o'clock, from 6 o'clock tonight through to 5 a.m. tomorrow morning, they're going to be expecting wind gusts up to 30 or 40 miles an hour and dust storms as well. Great. The wind I can handle. The dust storms, not so much. It gets into my sinuses, into my lungs. It's horrible. And then I'm coughing and sneezing and carrying on. And I'm like, yeah, I don't want to be doing that. So we've got everything closed up. All the outside vents have been closed up with the exception for the one in the bathroom, because that one I just left continually going. So it's sucking air out of there, so nothing can really blow into it anyway. Got the car all closed up. Got the awning in. So we've got the hatches battened down and everything else. And then we had an extra long walk this evening, because while we were out walking, we met up with a couple that had an 8.5-month-old puppy that was like 3 times the size of Zephy. It's this gorgeous tan color. I don't know what breed it is. I think it's a hound of some sort. That much I do know. And he didn't have big flop. He just had these beautiful ears on him, and he was such a sweet pup. And they were only here for overnight. They're on their way back up to Utah where they live. But a great couple to talk with, and they were asking me all sorts of questions. Oh, well, since you live full time, what do you use for your Wi-Fi, and what do you use for this, and what do you do for that? And so we talked about different memberships that I have and why I have those certain memberships, and about the Wi-Fi service that we get. And so they were sort of like, I don't know if we would use that. And I said, that's okay, I will. And they look at me, what do you mean? I said, I easily do anywhere from 350 to 400 gigabytes a month on my Wi-Fi. And they're like, seriously? I says, yeah. I said, because all the work I do, I'm online constantly. And there's Zooms that I do and lives that I do. And I said, so yeah, I'm a bit of a mess on that. So anywhere between 350 and 450 gigabytes is what I do on average every month. And they're like, wow. They said, we wouldn't even do anywhere near that. I said, well, they give you when you get the little box, it says that the max is 10 gigs, but because the deal that the organization I was telling them about has, if you're a member of that organization, you get unlimited. So I said, if you go over the 10 gigabytes, it doesn't matter. I said, but I consistently do anywhere from 350 to 450 a month, and it costs me $50. And they're like, really? I says, yeah. I says, yeah. So the husband was taking notes while she was hanging on to, well, Zeffie and their dog, Chase, were getting used to each other and playing and things. And so yeah, we had a good extended walk out there. And so we've been outside a while. The wind hasn't come up yet. I have a feeling it's going to be more in the middle of the night. We may get woken, rocking and rolling a little bit. I don't know. But yeah, so we've had a very active, busy day today. The chat was crazy this afternoon. It was, I just felt like I was constantly, and then I was starting to get hot, which means I was losing my concentration on what I was doing and everything else. And we had the windows open. And it's like 67 degrees outside. So I go and check the thermostat. It's like 80 degrees inside the RV. We've got windows open. I closed the front blind where Zeffie usually sits because she'd gone to bed. So the sun wasn't streaming in there as much. But it was 80 degrees inside here and 67 outside. So put the air on for a little bit and let it cool everything down inside. And then with that cooler air, I was like, oh, straight into work mode again. So, just adapting and changing and doing what you need to do to get things done. But yeah, it's been a pretty cool day today. It's been a very busy day, very rewarding day. So I felt like I got a lot accomplished today. Also got some work done for clients as well. So that was this morning before I got on the help chat. And so I've had a very productive day in a lot of different areas. And I feel very good about today. So now I have to go and finish up on a project that I am working on that I need for tomorrow because I'm helping with a presentation tomorrow. So I need to go get that finished so we can get that done tomorrow and have an awesome time with that. And that's going to be really fun. So anyway, I'm out of here. Don't forget your question of the day is what was one of your, I forgot to change the banner again. As soon as I finish this, I'm going to go change the banner. What is one of your favorite holiday memories? Holiday also means vacations. It's not just Christmas, New Year, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah. It is any holiday throughout the year that you do when you go on vacation. In New Zealand, we call it going on holiday. Over here in the States, you go on vacation. So it's whatever holiday/vacation memories you have. So go out, have a super fantastic, sparkling evening, and we will catch you guys bright and early tomorrow morning for Winning Wednesday. Yay! Hey, Konara.